As the darkness settles around you, the world outside grows quiet, and the shadows cast by the faint moonlight dance upon the walls. I find myself drawn to the ancient rituals of a long-lost civilization, one that understood the significance of honoring the departed. The Romans, with their meticulous attention to detail and reverence for tradition, developed a complex system of funeral rites and burial customs that would ensure the deceased a peaceful passage into the afterlife. You would have heard the soft murmur of mourners, the scent of incense and flowers wafting through the air, as the funeral procession made its way to the necropolis, the city of the dead. The Romans believed that the spirits of the dead required constant nourishment, and so they would leave offerings of food and drink at the tombs, a practice that echoed the care and devotion they had shown to their loved ones in life. I always come back to this one, the way the Romans would tend to the graves, as if the act of remembrance itself was a sacred duty, a bond that transcended even death. The tombs, often grand and ornate, stood as testaments to the wealth and status of the deceased, while the humblest of graves, marked by simple inscriptions and unadorned stones, whispered stories of lives lived and lost. As the night wears on, the stars twinkling above like diamonds scattered across the velvet expanse, the silence is almost palpable, a reminder that even in death, there is a beauty, a stillness that can be found. The Romans, in their wisdom, understood this, and so they buried their dead outside the city walls, in the quiet of the countryside, where the only sounds would be the rustling of leaves and the distant hum of the wind. And so, in the darkness, surrounded by the shadows of the past, we find ourselves drawn into the eternal slumber, the echoes of which whisper secrets of a long-forgotten world, one that, in its reverence for the dead, reminds us of the beauty of remembrance and the peace that can be found in the stillness of the night. The darkness deepens, and the world slows its pace, as if to honor the departed and the memories that linger like the faint scent of incense long after they are gone. As the sun sets over the ancient city, the shadows cast by the muralled walls grow longer, and the streets that were once filled with the sounds of everyday life become quiet, the only sound being the distant hum of the necropolis, a reminder that beyond the city limits, the dead awaited. You would have heard the mournful notes of the tibia, a traditional Roman instrument, echoing through the streets, a signal that a funeral procession was making its way to the outskirts of the city, where the deceased would be laid to rest. The Romans, as meticulous in death as they were in life, had strict rules governing the disposal of the dead, and it was considered essential to bury the deceased outside the city walls, a practice that dated back to the time of the Republic. I always come back to this one, the Roman custom of burying their dead along the roads that led out of the city, the most notable being the Via Appia, which wound its way south, lined with tombs and mausoleums, a testament to the enduring power of the Roman family. These tombs, often grand and ornate, were built to last, with intricate stone carvings and inscriptions that told the story of the deceased, a final tribute to their memory. The necropolis, a city of the dead, was a place where the living could visit and pay their respects to their loved ones, leaving offerings of food, drink, and incense, a way of maintaining the bond between the living and the dead. As the night wears on, the darkness deepens, and the silence is only broken by the occasional hooting of an owl, a sound that was often associated with the underworld, a reminder that the boundary between the world of the living and the world of the dead was thin. The Romans believed that the spirits of the dead continued to exist and that they needed to be provided for, which is why they would often leave offerings of food and drink at the tombs, a way of ensuring that the dead remained at peace. And so, the city of the dead remained, a constant presence, a reminder of the transience of life and the enduring power of the Roman legacy. The darkness closes in, and the stillness becomes almost palpable, as if the very presence of the dead is a reminder to slow down, to pause, and to reflect on the fleeting nature of life. As you settle into the darkness, the silence begins to feel like a gentle shroud wrapping around you, and I find myself drawn to the ancient Romans, who buried their dead with a solemn reverence, their practices a testament to the enduring power of tradition and the human desire to honor those who have passed on. The Romans, you see, didn't bury their dead within the city walls. Instead, they laid them to rest in necropoles, vast cemeteries that stretched out like ghostly suburbs, a reminder that death was always just beyond the edges of everyday life. I always come back to this one, the way the Romans separated the living from the dead, a physical divide that reflected the spiritual one, as if the very act of burial was a way of acknowledging the mysteries that lay beyond the reach of mortal men. In these necropoles, the Romans built elaborate tombs, some of which still stand today, their crumbling facades a testament to the transience of human endeavor and the enduring power of grief. The wealthy, of course, were buried in grand style, their tombs adorned with intricate carvings and statues, while the poor were laid to rest in simpler, more humble graves, a reflection of the social hierarchies that governed life in ancient Rome. You would have heard the sound of mourners, their lamentations echoing through the stillness, as they made their way to the grave, bearing offerings of food and drink, which they believed would sustain the deceased on their journey into the afterlife. As we make our way deeper into the shadows, the air grows thick with the scent of damp earth and decay, and I'm reminded of the catacombs, those labyrinthine tunnels that crisscrossed beneath the city, a vast network of underground burial chambers where the early Christians secretly laid their dead to rest, their whispered prayers and hymns carried away by the darkness. It's a somber, quiet place where the past feels almost palpable, the weight of countless generations bearing down upon us, and yet, even in death, there's a sense of peace, a sense of closure that seems to seep into the very marrow of our bones. The darkness, it seems, can be a comforting thing, a reminder that we're not alone, that we're all part of a larger story, one that stretches out before us like a vast, uncharted sea. As the last remnants of daylight faded from the Roman sky, the shadows of sacred fire began to stretch across the landscape, a somber reminder of the rituals that would soon unfold. You would have heard the soft murmur of mourners, their voices carried on the evening breeze as they made their way to the necropoles, the cities of the dead that lay just beyond the city gates. It was a place where the living were not meant to dwell, a threshold between the world of the living and the realm of the departed. I always come back to this one, the way the Romans treated their dead, with a reverence that was both fascinating and haunting. The Romans believed that the dead needed to be treated with respect, that their spirits required a certain level of care and attention in order to ensure their safe passage into the afterlife. This was reflected in their elaborate funeral rites, which often involved the burning of sacred fires, the sacrifice of animals, and the recitation of ancient incantations. The smell of incense and burning wood would have filled the air, a pungent aroma that signaled the start of the funeral procession. As the mourners made their way to the burial site, they would have carried with them the belongings of the deceased, items that held sentimental value, and which would be placed in the tomb to provide comfort to the spirit in the afterlife. The Romans preferred to bury their dead outside the city walls, in areas that were often lined with cypress trees, their dark silhouettes a somber reminder of the transience of life. The tombs themselves were often grand affairs, adorned with intricate carvings and statues, a testament to the wealth and status of the deceased. As the night wore on, the shadows would have deepened, casting a dark and foreboding glow over the necropoles, a place where the living were not meant to tread. And yet, it was in these moments, surrounded by the darkness and the silence, that the Romans found a sense of peace, a sense of connection to their ancestors and to the eternal cycle of life and death. The darkness was not something to be feared, but rather something to be embraced, a reminder of the mysteries that lay beyond the reach of the living. As you settle into the darkness, the weight of centuries begins to seep into your surroundings, and you would have heard the whispers of a long-forgotten civilization, its people bound by traditions that dictated the proper way to bid farewell to the departed. The Romans, in their meticulous approach to life and death, developed a complex system for burying their dead, one that reflected their societal hierarchy and the values they held dear. Outside the city walls, the silent cities of Rome began to take shape, necropoles that stretched as far as the eye could see, a testament to the transience of human existence. I always come back to this one, the way the Romans honored their dead, not just as a means to ensure a peaceful afterlife, but as a way to reinforce the social bonds that held their world together. The wealthy, with their elaborate mausoleums and intricately carved sarcophagi, stood in stark contrast to the humble graves of the common folk, a reflection of the disparities that existed in life. And yet, despite these differences, the Romans shared a common goal: to ensure that their loved ones were laid to rest with the dignity and respect they deserved. As the night wears on, the shadows cast by the flickering torches that once lined the streets of Rome begin to dance across your mind, and you're drawn into a world where death was not an end, but a transition, a passage to the afterlife. The Romans believed that the spirit of the deceased would linger, watching over the living, and so they made offerings to the gods to guide their loved ones on their journey. The necropoles, with their neatly arranged rows of tombstones, became a bridge between the world of the living and the world of the dead, a place where the past and the present converged. In this somber landscape, the sounds of everyday life are muffled, and the silence is almost palpable, a reminder that, even in death, the Romans found a way to impose order on the chaos that surrounds us. The darkness outside your window seems to press in, a gentle reminder of the mysteries that lie just beyond the reach of our mortal coil, and the weight of history that presses down upon us, a slow and relentless tide that shapes our understanding of the world. As you settle into the darkness, the shadows of ancient Rome begin to unfold, like a slow-moving mist that creeps across the landscape, shrouding the city's grandeur in an air of mystery. The Romans, masters of engineering and architecture, constructed their cities with a keen sense of purpose, every stone, every arch, and every column serving a specific function. And yet, their approach to death was eerily pragmatic, a testament to their unflinching acceptance of mortality. You would have heard the sound of hammers ringing out against the stone, the rumble of the necropolis, as the city of the dead grew in tandem with the city of the living. I always come back to this one, the Roman practice of burying their dead outside the city walls, a custom born of necessity as the sprawling metropolis pushed outward, its boundaries ever expanding, like a living, breathing entity. The Via Appia, that ancient thoroughfare, stretches out like a ghostly ribbon, winding its way through the Italian countryside, lined with the tombs of the forgotten, their weathered facades a testament to the transience of human life. The Romans believed that the spirits of the dead roamed the earth, and that the living had a duty to appease them, to ensure their safe passage into the afterlife. And so, they built their tombs with a sense of reverence, often incorporating intricate mosaics and ornate carvings, a reflection of the deceased's status in life. As night descends, the shadows cast by these monuments grow long and sinuous, like dark tentacles reaching out to snare the unwary, drawing you deeper into the heart of the necropolis, where the silence is almost palpable, a heavy, oppressive shroud that wraps around your heart. In the stillness, the whispers of the past begin to stir, the faint rustle of dry leaves, the creaking of ancient wooden beams, the soft murmur of the wind, all blending together to create a somber melody, a lament for the dead, a reminder that even in death there is beauty, a beauty that is both haunting and mesmerizing. The Romans, in their wisdom, understood this, and so they built their cities of the dead with a sense of purpose, a testament to their enduring legacy, a legacy that continues to whisper its secrets to us in the darkness where the shadows reign supreme. As the last remnants of daylight fade from the sky, you would have heard the soft murmur of the Roman mourners, their voices carrying on the gentle breeze as they made their way to the necropolis, the city of the dead, where dusty bones lie still. The Romans, with their deep-rooted customs and traditions, believed that the proper burial of the dead was essential, a necessary rite to ensure the deceased a peaceful transition into the afterlife. They built elaborate tombs, often adorned with intricate carvings and inscriptions, to honor their loved ones and to provide a sense of comfort to those left behind. I always come back to this one, the Roman practice of burying their dead outside the city walls, a custom that was both practical and symbolic, as it was believed that the spirits of the dead could not cross the boundary of the city, and thus would not disturb the living. The necropolis, a sprawling metropolis of the dead, was a place where families could visit and pay their respects to their ancestors, leaving offerings of food, wine, and flowers at the tombs. The air was thick with the scent of incense and the soft whisper of prayers, as the living sought to appease the spirits of the dead. As the night wears on, the shadows cast by the tombs grow longer, stretching out like skeletal fingers, a reminder of the transience of life. The Romans, with their keen awareness of mortality, built their tombs to withstand the test of time, to stand as a testament to the lives of those who had passed on. The stillness of the night is punctuated only by the distant hooting of owls, a sound that was often associated with death and the afterlife in Roman mythology. And in this quiet, somber atmosphere, the dusty bones of the dead lie still, their stories and memories waiting to be uncovered, like the whispers of the past carried on the wind. The darkness is almost palpable, a living, breathing entity that envelops the necropolis, a reminder of the mysteries that lie beyond the veil of the living. As the last remnants of daylight faded from the Roman sky, the living would make their way to the city's outskirts, to the places where the dead lay waiting, their eternal silence a solemn reminder of the transience of life. You would have heard the soft murmur of mourners, the scent of incense and myrrh wafting through the air as families gathered to pay their respects to the departed. The Romans believed that the dead needed to be treated with dignity, and so they built elaborate tombs, often along the roads that led out of the city, creating a landscape of remembrance that stretched as far as the eye could see. I always come back to this one, the story of how the Romans buried their dead. It's a testament to their reverence for the afterlife and the careful rituals they observed to ensure the deceased a safe passage to the underworld. The body would be washed and anointed with oils, dressed in its finest clothes, and then placed on a funeral pyre where it would be cremated, the ashes collected in an urn and buried in a tomb, often with a few cherished belongings, to ease the journey into the unknown. The tombs themselves were sometimes grand affairs, adorned with intricate carvings and inscriptions that told the story of the deceased, a lasting tribute to their memory. As the night wore on, the stars would twinkle to life above, casting a gentle glow over the landscape, and the Romans would return to their homes, leaving the dead to their eternal silence. The stillness of the night, a reminder of the peace that lay beyond the reach of mortal cares. The darkness was not something to be feared, but rather a time for reflection, a time to consider the mysteries of the afterlife and the secrets that lay hidden in the shadows. And so the city would slumber, surrounded by the quiet of the dead, the only sound the soft whisper of the wind, as it carried the whispers of the past into the darkness, where they would wait patiently for the dawn to come. The silence was almost palpable, a soft blanket that wrapped around the city, holding it close, and in that stillness, the Romans found a sense of peace, a sense of connection to the world beyond their own.